Welcome to today's Explainer. Look, if you spend any time at all in the automotive retail space, you already know that the way we communicate with customers is going through a massive shift. Today, we're going to break down how to completely transform robotic, tension-filled dealership communication into natural, highly effective customer interactions. We are moving away from rigid systems and stepping towards building genuine, lasting trust.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're up against. We all know this stereotypical, old-school car salesman archetype, right? The pushy, high-pressure closer who defaults to generic, recycled lines like, "What's it going to take to put you in this car today?" This archetype is totally outdated, yet customers still anticipate it. The second they hear those lines, their emotional resistance just instantly skyrockets. We absolutely have to evolve away from this if we want to win in today's market.
But hey, moving away from that old-school vibe doesn't mean we just abandon structure altogether. It's actually the exact opposite. We need to completely redefine what a script actually is. A modern script is really just a proven conversation framework designed to build trust and consistency. It's definitely not meant to turn your sales team or BDC agents into robots reading a rigid monologue. Instead, it empowers them. It gives them a tested path to guide conversations smoothly, adapt to the customer's emotions on the fly, and stay in total control without ever sounding pushy.
So here is our roadmap for today. 1. The modern sales dilemma. 2. AI as your co-pilot. 3. Mastering the first impression. 4. Handling objections naturally. 5. Navigating finance and closing. And 6. The art of follow-up. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The modern sales dilemma. Navigating broken processes.
Think about this for a second. Before a customer ever even sets foot on your lot, could your own internal communication be driving them straight to your competitors? Ask yourself, how many clicks or button presses does it take before your customer just gives up? When people call, they want convenience. But if they're met with a 5-minute automated phone menu, dead-end extensions, or full voicemail boxes, they're going to hang up. In fact, industry data shows that nearly a third of unconnected dealership calls are just customers abandoning the line while on hold. If your entry points are confusing, you are literally losing buyers before you even get a chance to speak with them.
So how do we actually fix this? Well, you run what's called a 5-minute mystery shop. You have to experience your dealership exactly the way your customers do. First, map out every single entry point, your phone numbers, trade appraisal forms, service schedulers, the whole shebang. Next, call and submit forms to each department like a real customer would. Take note of how long it takes to get a response, where the dead ends are, and if those automated menus actually make sense. Finally, and this is absolutely crucial, assign a clear owner and a backup to every single entry point so nothing ever slips through the cracks again. Honestly, this one exercise can plug the holes where you're bleeding leads.
Moving on to Section 2. AI as your co-pilot. Generative AI for the showroom. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this simple 4-step formula. Once your inbound pathways are clear, you've got to make sure your team's responses are sharp, fast, and consistent. Now, we aren't talking about AI replacing your staff. We're talking about AI as a highly practical co-pilot. This formula guarantees high-quality, dealership-ready outputs from tools like ChatGPT. Because let's face it, vague prompts give you vague, robotic answers. But if you use this structure, the results are incredible. Step 1. Define the role. Tell it to act like a BDC manager. Step 2. Provide context, like saying a new internet lead hasn't replied. Step 3. Assign the task. Write a follow-up text. And Step 4. Define the output format. Tell it to keep things under 30 words and conversational. This totally transforms AI from a neat parlor trick into an incredibly effective daily operational tool.
All right, Section 3. Mastering the first impression. Building initial trust.
Okay, so your BDC is running smoothly. Now let's shift gears to the showroom floor. Mastering that first impression is where the battle for trust is won or lost. The opening moments of a conversation completely determine the emotional tone for everything that follows. A weak greeting like, "Are you buying today?" immediately creates tension. It's super transactional and pushy. Contrast that with a much better, natural greeting, "What brought you out looking today?" This lower pressure approach asks for their motivation rather than demanding an immediate commitment. It instantly lowers their emotional defenses and makes them feel like they're being guided rather than just processed on an assembly line. And you can really see how this supportive approach builds when you hit that inevitable "I'm just looking" objection. A weak response tries to force a sale right then and there. A better response validates their research phase. You say something like, "That's perfectly fine. Most of our customers are in the exact same research phase as you. The best research you can do is a quick 15-minute test drive to see if you even like how the vehicle feels." See what we did there? You acknowledge their position without pressure, and you logically transition right into an appointment.
Section 4. Handling objections naturally. Lowering customer defensiveness.
As the customer moves deeper into the process, we hit a wall. We enter the most tense part of the sale, negotiations. Handling objections naturally is all about keeping the conversation collaborative. Because the moment it turns combative, trust completely evaporates. And here it is, the dreaded question every single salesperson hears. What's your best price? Just seeing those words on screen probably builds a little tension in your gut, right? When customers ask this, they're testing you. They are waiting for you to get defensive or give them some generic, evasive answer.
Okay, let's dive into this. A weak response to price resistance is the classic aggressive close. If the numbers work today, are you ready to buy? This instantly makes the customer feel completely cornered. Now listen to the better approach. Let's take a look together and see if the overall structure feels comfortable for you. Do you hear the difference there? You are actively inviting them to sit on the same side of the table as you. It's supportive, it's transparent, and it significantly reduces their anxiety.
Closely following the price objection is the second most common question, what's my car worth? This is another massive pivot point. Trade-in discussions can become emotionally tense very quickly because a customer's vehicle is personal to them. And let's be honest, they're inherently suspicious of the dealer's valuation.
So here is a proven framework for handling the trade-in conversation. First, never ever give a sight unseen number. It sets a trap. Instead, emphasize transparency. Explain that online tools often miss things like perfect condition or a great service history that can actually add real value to their car. Then pivot by offering a complimentary, no-obligation, 15-minute physical appraisal. By keeping the conversation entirely focused on getting them top dollar through a collaborative inspection, you totally disarm their defensiveness.
That brings us to Section 5, navigating finance and closing, reducing payment shock and tension.
Once the numbers on the desk are actually agreed upon, the customer heads into the F&I office, and man, this is where trust is tested the absolute heaviest. Navigating this phase is all about reducing payment shock and maintaining the relationship you've built. When a customer sees final terms that are higher than they expected, that's payment shock. A weak F&I manager will freeze up, get defensive, or immediately default to cutting the price. A better response physically slows the entire moment down. You acknowledge their frustration by saying, I completely understand wanting to feel comfortable financially. You show empathy, reframe the situation calmly, and ask clarifying questions to keep the buyer engaged and open to exploring different structuring options.
So the crucial point is making absolutely sure the customer actually understands what they are buying in the F&I office. If they don't understand it, they are going to reject it for sure. This is another fantastic place to leverage AI. You can prompt AI to generate explanations for complex products, like gap insurance, in plain language, under 40 words, using simple real-world examples. By focusing the output on exactly how the product protects their monthly budget and completely stripping away all that confusing industry jargon, you build immense credibility. Which brings us to our final stop, Section 6, the art of follow-up, nurturing the relationship post-sale. Okay, so you've successfully navigated the showroom and the finance office. The car is officially sold. But the absolute best dealerships out there know that a sold car is really just the beginning of the relationship. This timeline right here is a process-mapped cadence that practically guarantees long-term loyalty and referrals. Within 24 hours, you make a follow-up call. At 30 and 60 days, you send personalized handwritten cards checking in and actually asking for referrals. At 90 days, you prepare them for the service department, and at 6 months, you send a nurture mailer to keep that connection alive. This kind of structured consistency ensures you stay top of mind without ever being annoying.
If we could boil this entire explainer down to one core philosophy, it would absolutely be this: listen first, diagnose second, earn customer trust every time. Whether you are a BDC agent answering a web form, a sales rep out on the lot, or a manager in F&I, prioritizing empathy and active listening over pushy, outdated tactics is exactly how you win the modern auto sale.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to take back to your team. Take a really close look at your operations today and ask yourself, are your dealership's daily processes and scripts guiding the customer towards a seamless experience, or are they actively blocking them? The frameworks we've discussed today are completely adaptable. It is time to ditch the robotic scripts, start having real conversations, and watch your success rate absolutely soar.